Wilt thou not care for him, console him, bless him, and guard him while he is well, and when he is sick? And put him first in your life, and follow him alone, for as long as the two of you are alive. Sure, I'll do that." Anger and confusion have spread around the palace following the discovery that Queen Camilla was seen wearing a cherished tiara that rightfully belongs to Catherine. The royal family is in disarray following the theft of the relic, and Camilla is the object of widespread suspicion. When Camilla took the tiara from Catherine, why did she do it? As well as the results that her choices will yield. Come along as we reveal all the secrets. One image can convey 1,000 words. It all started with a touch of tradition and elegance, as is typical of royal photo sessions. It appeared like a picture-perfect family shot thanks to the picturesque location, spotless attire, and composed smiles. To everyone's expectations, everything was perfect. Mild grace, sophisticated charisma, and an innate understanding of the past. Symbols of power, solidarity, and enduring beauty are common in these paintings. However, this time, a tiny detail that was virtually unnoticed drew everyone's attention. The story revolved around it after it was detected. In the center of the portrait stood Queen Camilla. Her stunning gown shimmered under the lights, adding to her ever-present air of sophistication. Her countenance exuded serenity, her countenance regal, and her attitude gentle. Her attire and features weren't the only things people were staring at, though. Their focus was captivated by the dazzling tiara delicately perched atop her head. A fragile and dazzling relic of royal heritage, it was the Cartier Harlow tiara. It was more than a lovely crown to a lot of people. It had a deeper meaning. Wearing it on her wedding day, one of the most memorable days of her life, brought up a flood of memories, particularly of Princess Catherine. Many people's emotions remained fixed on the picture of Catherine, radiating love and optimism for a long time. Out of nowhere, the identical tiara reappeared, this time atop a different head. It didn't take long for fans to notice when the photo was made public. In a flash, questions and thoughts were flying over social media. Whose tiara was that? I don't understand why Queen Camilla wore it. I don't understand. It didn't appear to be a random choice to those who closely studied the royal family. There was more to the tiara than met the eye. It represented the serene elegance and unassuming might of Catherine, with her expanding responsibilities inside the realm of royalty. Some started to question whether there was a hidden significance to this decision. Did that happen by accident, or was it deliberate? An attempt to convey something without actually saying a word? No information was provided by the palace. They said nothing. Silence, however, can convey more than words ever could in a regal life. This moment was touched with emotion for those who have watched the royal family for a long time. Besides glimmer, royal jewelry has long been a symbol of prestige. You can feel the history in these objects. Stories are told by them. As a symbol of affection, authority, and heritage, they are passed down through the years. People try to decipher its significance whenever a tiara similar to this one resurfaces. The glint of diamonds and the twist of metal make them wonder what message it is trying to convey. Emotions were triggered by this photo. Many began to wonder what kind of relationship Catherine and Camilla had. Did things get heated? Were you trying to convey your authority subtly? On the other hand, was it just some discarded jewelry? For whatever reason, the shot evoked strong emotions in viewers. Something powerful and unknown. People looked at and discussed the picture as time went on. Nobody forgot about it. On the contrary, they drew nearer. They recalled the history of the tiara. Their thoughts wandered to Catherine's transformation from a timid bride into a powerful queen. Additionally, they pondered whether this indicated a transformation or the gradual expansion of something invisible. When they looked at the photo, viewers saw more than just jewelry and clothing. They perceived emotions. Behind the scenes, they envisioned the moments. The future was on their minds, as well as the many subtle transformations taking place within the palace's walls. There it was, a picture meant to convey tranquility, transformed into one brimming with curiosity, kindness, and subdued awe. However, we must return to the tiara's origin in order to truly grasp its significance. Look at it, the serene tail of a tiara. There is a lot more to the tale of this crown than just a wedding. Looking back to its origins will help us comprehend why it continues to move so many people today. In the midst of its little jewels lies a lovely tale of love, honor, tradition, and power. Princesses and queens of today didn't always wear the Cartier halo tiara, which had humble beginnings as a thoughtful present. The future King George VIII, the Duke of York, was planning a surprise for Queen Elizabeth in 1936. He commissioned the renowned jeweler Cartier to design a platinum and diamond tiara. It wasn't merely an attractive present, it was a token of affection given to her on the brink of a life-altering event. Featuring more than 739 brilliant-cut diamonds and 149 baguette-cut diamonds arranged in a delicate scroll pattern, this little tiara was bestowed upon her coronation as Queen Elizabeth, a title she later assumed as the Queen Mother. It gave off an ethereal, halo-like shimmer when worn. It was named after that. There was a little glimmer to its glitter. It had depth, purpose, and was soothing. With an air of subdued pride, the Queen Mother donned the tiara. Instead of trying to draw attention to herself, she displayed composed power. It was during a London charity event celebrating women's rights that she first wore it in public. The tiara was understated in comparison to other royal jewels, yet its gentle luster drew admiring glances. The Queen Mother continued to adore her small tiara, even as she progressively wore larger and more magnificent diamonds to significant occasions throughout the years. On Princess Elizabeth's 18th birthday in 1944, she presented it to her as a gift, and it was a lovely gesture. It was a delicate heirloom passed down from mother to daughter. It was more than just jewelry. Considering the gravity of the situation, Princess Elizabeth, later Queen Elizabeth II, wore the tiara sparingly throughout World War II. Even though she had a plethora of jewels at her disposal as queen, she never lost sight of the significance of tiaras. In her earlier years, Princess Margaret, her sister, wore it gracefully, so she loaned it to her. Princess Anne, who succeeded Margaret as wearer in the 1970s, was justifiably proud of it. Unfortunately, after that, it stopped being there. Under the radar of the royal family for a long time, it remained in storage. However, a miraculous event transpired in 2011. The future Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, chose to wear it for her wedding ceremony. It was a lovely surprise, and remembering the tiara's past brought back a flood of memories. There was more to it than that. It was a connection to the previous generations of royal women. People felt the bridge between the old and the new at that same moment. The tiara brought back long-forgotten memories for all. Queen Camilla wore the tiara a few years later. It appeared to be no more than another royal jewel to some, but others sensed something unique. Over the years, several women have lovingly shared the tiara. Questions were raised when Camilla wore it, a figure with a more complex role in royal history. Did it signify anything beyond being an attractive option? Jewelry conveys meaning in royal life that words alone cannot. There are emotions associated with the form, the glimmer, and the past. You won't find diamonds alone in this tiara. It contains tales of romance, mild competition, and the passage of time. Grace and Catherine's crown. The events on April 29th, 2011 will remain etched in history forever. In anticipation of one glorious moment, the wedding of Catherine Middleton and Prince William, people from all walks of life and all corners of the globe huddled around their televisions and phones. Everyone appeared to stop what they were doing the moment Catherine entered Westminster Abbey. An elegantly understated ivory lace robe adorned her figure. The expression on her face was one of tranquility, and she moved with elegance at every turn. The Cartier halo tiara, delicately perched atop her head, however, was the focal point of all eyes. Silently, it shimmered. It was more than a crown. It held legends. It was lent to Catherine by Queen Elizabeth for the occasion and had previously belonged to her. A profound message was sent by that subtle present. Thank you for joining the royal family. Catherine was free to select any tiara she liked. She might go for something daring or contemporary if she wanted to. However, she opted for the one that had previously been worn by Queen Elizabeth and the Queen Mother. Though it was a delicate decision, it was a firm one. She wasn't attempting to alter anything, as evidenced by this. Her gesture was one of reverence. I understand this role, she announced to the Globe. I will respect that. A lot of people took note. Her beauty and generosity led some to draw comparisons to Princess Diana. Catherine was neither Queen Elizabeth nor anyone else who saw a mirror image of her in her tranquility and subtle power. Her compassionate nature made her her own person, articulate, powerful, and subdued. Someone in the palace reportedly said that Catherine knew how to use silence to her advantage. With that tiara softly sparkling on her wedding day, she didn't have to utter a word. Even if her decisions were self-explanatory, that day not everyone was happy. Behind the scenes, rumblings were heard. The tiara that Catherine picked reportedly made Queen Camilla angry. She had wished that Catherine would go for a more understated outfit, one that wasn't so closely associated with Queen Elizabeth. Although elegant, Catherine's decision may have seemed like a subtle statement. Style wasn't the only consideration. What mattered most was the essence of meaning. The tiara served as a connection to the monarchs who came before her. Perhaps others felt excluded because of that. Prior to the wedding, Camilla had expressed her opinions. Contrary to Catherine's earlier consideration of a flower crown, she insisted that a tiara befit a royal bride. Keeping with tradition was important to Camilla. Though she did it in her own unique style, Catherine chose a powerful and historically significant tiara. Politeness was maintained, also had a strong impact. Even though Catherine didn't say anything specifically, several people took her actions as a message. The tiara made headlines once again as Camilla wore it to another major event. Was it an act of kindness or solidarity, or did something more sinister lie beneath the surface? In royal life, deeds frequently convey more meaning than words, even when no one stated it directly. The halo tiara vanished without a trace following Catherine's wedding. It had been hidden for quite some time. As if out of nowhere, it reappeared, this time on Camilla. A lot of people took note. Why now? I don't understand. Did it involve a change in authority, a gift, or something else totally? Although the complete truth may elude us, one thing is certain. There was more to Catherine's wedding than meets the eye. A subtle but significant event had passed, and it had an impact on the royal family's trajectory going forward. No massive crown or booming voice was necessary for her. She revealed her identity to the world through deliberate decisions and a gentle smile. It was more than just a wedding, a symbol of a new sort of royalty, one that honors tradition while embodying quiet strength, kindness, and grace. She became more than that. Although it may appear to be nothing more than a symbol of grandeur to the average person, Catherine held the crown in high regard. How did she perceive it? We will discover. Once more, the tiara spoke. Something was subtly absent following Catherine's 2011 wedding. Neither a person nor a story could be found within it. Behold, the exquisite Cartier halo tiara. She had lost sight of the tiny and lovely crown that had adorned her head at one of the most attended weddings in history. It vanished from royal gatherings, photographs, and special occasions thereafter. The tiara seemed to have slipped into a deep slumber, concealed within the recesses of time and memory. Even though it wasn't hers formally, the tiara quickly became widely believed to belong to Catherine. The tiara appeared to have a strong connection to Catherine, similar to Princess Diana's renowned blue sapphire ring. It entered her narrative on the day of her wedding. It didn't make a big deal. It was elegant, subtle, and significant. Suddenly, it vanished. The years passed. A shift occurred. Transient occurrences occurred. Royal occasions called for a variety of tiaras, each with its unique history. Unexpectedly, something occurred, and the Cartier halo tiara remained absent, still, and nearly forgotten. In an instant, everything shifted. Queen Camilla's shocking appearance while donning the identical tiara surprised onlookers. Nobody saw it coming. Everywhere you looked, people were startled and perplexed. The origins and significance of the tiara started to be questioned by some. Inquiring minds wanted to know if Catherine had ever owned it and why Camilla had picked that particular moment to wear it. The rules governing royal jewels aren't always crystal apparent. The nation owns some, such as the crown jewels. They are only worn for formal occasions, such as coronations. Nevertheless, the Queen also owns a number of tiaras that she wears on a more personal basis. Love and memories are cherished in these unique items. For important occasions, they are occasionally borrowed or given as gifts. Nobody has said what became of the borrowed tiara that Catherine wore on her wedding day. Everything gets murky after that. It is possible that Camilla received the tiara upon becoming queen, if it remained in the possession of the queen until her death. It was weird to see the tiara on someone else's head when it had been so associated with Catherine's image and story. Even without a word, it might have seemed like something significant was being stolen or changed. The royal residence remained silent. Nobody got a statement. However, there are royal watchers who think Catherine may have planned to wear the tiara again, perhaps for a future coronation or another significant event. Consequently, it was shocking and intimate to see it on someone else. When you're a king, your clothing usually says more than your words ever could. Tiaras and other jewels are more than just adornments. They are memory joggers. People who wear them are inevitably reminded of their predecessors. Silent stories are told by them while showing principles. Wearing the tiara was a powerful symbol of Catherine's dedication, grace, and honor. It conveyed her reverence for tradition to the globe, and could do it with grace and gentleness. Now that Camilla is wearing the tiara, everyone is curious. Was this merely a matter of personal preference, or was it a subtle declaration of dominion? Wearing a tiara could be seen as a subtle attempt to change the past. The return of the Cartier halo tiara is certain, albeit no one can say for sure why. A new chapter in the story of the royal family begins with it. Fights and strong language are not the focus of this chapter. Subtle clues, unspoken emotions, and fleeting encounters with profound significance are the themes. Once again, the tiara is making its voice heard. However, its interpretation is subjective. Wearing the tiara was a sign of approval and respect for Camilla. She began from where, though? Rest easy, the winding path to the throne. The process of Camilla's coronation was gradual. There wasn't an enchanted moment or an outpouring of public affection. There was a lot of waiting, misunderstanding, and suffering along her silent and gradual journey. Camilla Shand was a common woman who lived distant from royal palaces long before she became associated with a monarch. She first crossed paths with Prince Charles at a friend's house in the early 1970s. They became close via common interests, laughter, and love. As a natural fit in his world, Camilla was always there to cheer him on during polo events. However, they subtly began to distance themselves once Charles enlisted in the Navy. Opponents claim he never made her wait. They were estranged, according to some, so he could marry someone better, according to his relatives. Some believe that after marrying Andrew Parker Bowles, while Charles was gone, Camilla harbored lingering affections for her former lover. It had already passed by the time Charles came back. Married life was Camilla's reality. A period of time elapsed. Lady Diana Spencer was Charles's bride in 1981. Diana was universally beloved, and many thought a new era of fairy tales had dawned. However, behind palace walls, the union was fraught with difficulties from the beginning. Charles and Camilla got back together in the 80s. They remained inseparable. It was as if I had returned home. When Diana learned the truth, she publicly confronted Camilla and told her to step back. However, due of their extensive shared past, Camilla and Charles maintained a strong relationship. After then, controversy ensued in the 1990s. Diana made her anguish known to the world. The globe was stunned when a phone conversation between Charles and Camilla was exposed. It was Camilla who was held responsible. People were so keen for the novel to have a heroine that she ended up playing the villain. Both unions crumbled. Camilla kept her mouth shut, never spoke out, and avoided the spotlight. At his side, she remained unmoved. Even when they tied the knot in 2005, Camilla declined to accept the title that had belonged to Diana. She was bestowed the title of Duchess of Cornwall as a mark of respect. Time went by. Patience and generosity were Camilla's hallmarks as she discreetly made her rounds to various charities and events. Many meanwhile, continued to feel Diana's spectre. After William, the people's favorite became Catherine, his wife. Catherine's charisma, kindness, and profound regard for Diana made her an instant hit. Then a fleeting thought triggered a flood of emotions. Catherine wore the Cartier halo tiara on her wedding day, but she hadn't worn it since. Camilla made an appearance while she was wearing it. A lot of people thought it was really personal for Catherine. Camilla was now sporting it. Why, therefore? Nothing was clarified. However, attire conveys more than words do in the realm of royalty. It seemed like a message about rivalry rather than tradition to some. For some reason, Camilla, who had always been reserved and circumspect, suddenly started making her presence felt like it belonged to someone else. The two women started to be publicly compared by more people, beautiful, gracious, and adored. Catherine is the modern royal. Camilla, queen by title but by heart a commoner. Even though she had been quietly serving for years, the tiara brought up old fears. A crown is not enough. As a young woman stepped into a new chapter of her life, the entire globe witnessed her. Prince William and Catherine Middleton were to be married. Everyone was waiting to see her, no matter where they were or what time zone they were in. All was quiet and peaceful as she stepped into Westminster Abbey. Her dreamlike ivory lace robe was the stuff of fairy tales. As if every step were significant, she walked carefully and smiled softly. The garment wasn't, however, the focal point of attention. There was no grandiose glimmer to its glitter. Catherine placed far deeper meaning on it than the average person. Most people merely saw it as an attractive royal diamond. It was Queen Elizabeth who first owned the tiara. For this momentous occasion, it had been loaned to Catherine. Even that modest present had deep significance. This was a subtle way of telling you that you're now one of us. Elizabeth had options. The choice of this tiara, which is associated with the Queen Mother and Queen Elizabeth, was hers, even if she could have worn a daring, contemporary, or more personal one. Her selection conveyed meaning subtly. Standing out wasn't her intention. With reverence and remembrance for her ancestors, she cautiously entered her new life. Nobody could have helped but take note. Her delicate beauty and generosity made some think of Princess Diana. Queen Elizabeth's serene gaze revealed her hidden might to those around her. This wasn't an act. Catherine wasn't attempting to mimic anyone. She was just being lovely, considerate, and graceful, just being herself. The power of silence was something Catherine understood, according to an insider at the palace. She let the tiara to do the talking that day, its gentle radiance serving as her voice. Nonetheless, there were dissenting opinions. Rumors circulated. Speculation circulated that Queen Camilla had wished for a tiara that was not so closely associated with Queen Elizabeth. Though kind, Catherine's decision might have alienated some. Sparkle wasn't the only thing. In the end, it came down to legacy and history. A tiara, rather than a floral crown, was previously Camilla's suggestion for Catherine to wear. Catherine consented, but she picked a meaningful one. She was subtly demonstrating her readiness and strength. Some people questioned whether she was trying to convey something, perhaps by her choices rather than her voice. People started talking again after Camilla wore the identical tiara to another royal occasion. What was it, a symbol of solidarity? What people do speaks louder than words when they are living the royal life. For quite some time after the wedding, no one saw the tiara again. Then it came back one day, yet again on Camilla, and the question of why now resurfaced. I don't understand. Were you passing it on or taking it back? Regardless of the outcome, it is certain that Catherine accomplished more than merely marrying a prince that day. Stepping into a new environment, she gracefully, amiably, and subtly navigated the rules, tasks, and pressures that came with it. There was no need for her to be loud or to wear the most elaborate crown. She proved herself to be more than a bride and a princess with each decision she made. She was a strong-willed, courageous woman. She maintained every silent vow she made that day, even as the years passed. Storms never fazed her. Defiance was her weapon. A world that is frequently chilly felt warmer because of her. Not everything within the palace was peaches and cream. Intimate conflicts, damaged sentiments, and trying times challenged her mettle. Catherine, though, never allowed herself to be hardened by them. Her heart remained open. Early. In the year 2024, Catherine revealed a deeply private matter. Cancer was announced to the world by her. There was no great statement or spectacular moment when she did it. Perched on a garden bench, she spoke candidly and in a low voice. She shared details about her treatments, anxieties, and aspirations. A different sort of power was on display at that moment. Her title extended beyond that of Duchess or future Queen. She bravely and kindly faced adversity while being a mother, wife, and lady. Despite her difficulties, she kept others in mind. She pleaded for quiet so she and her loved ones could be alone. Grace and gentleness were ever present in her demeanor. It touched people all throughout the world. The rumors subsided for a time. Fashion and titles were omitted from the stories. They dealt with themes like bravery, compassion, and love. Catherine stepped away from the limelight for a while. She devoted herself to becoming well, spending time with her loved ones, and discovering inner calm. It wasn't her attire that garnered attention when she made her triumphant return to Trooping the Color in June 2024. She was quietly courageous. No words were necessary on her part. Just being there was enough. It is possible that her tale of royalty began with the tiara she wore to her wedding. Everything she has done thereafter, though, is where the true magic lies. It shows in the gentle manner she moves about, against all odds, with her generosity. That delicate tiara was more than skin deep. It was an assurance, symbolic of her past and future selves. Such grins conceal a tremendous struggle. Jewels, more than anything else, hold significance in the realm of royalty. The Cartier Halo Tiara was formerly among numerous valuable possessions. Adorable, certainly, but unremarkable. When Catherine wore it to her wedding, everything changed. The tiara glistened in the sunlight as she made her way down the aisle. The crown became more than that. It represented purity, poise, and inner power. It captivated the entire world, precisely like they had adored her. Catherine was bound to wear the tiara ever since that fateful day. Despite its lack of ownership, it had the distinct impression of being hers. The tiara made a triumphant return years later, adorning Queen Camilla's head. A piece of jewelry to the average person, but a symbol of royalty to those who knew what they were doing. Nobody in the palace wears anything by coincidence. There is a message in every necklace, brooch, and tiara. Along with the time Camilla sported the tiara from Catherine's magical occasion. People started to pause and ask, was it a tradition? Could that have been a subtle challenge or message? Camilla was seen by some as demonstrating her authority. Ultimately, she had endured many years of waiting, maintained her silence during challenging times, and at last became queen. Perhaps donning the tiara was her way of announcing her arrival. However, other people had a different impression, as if a narrative were being reworked wordlessly. The tiara belonged to more than simply royalty. It belonged to cherished memories, and now those recollections were either passed on or stolen. As far as anyone can tell, Camilla and Catherine aren't fighting in public. Nothing dramatic or harsh. However, a grin, a stance, or a jewel are frequently the subtlest methods for a monarch to express their emotions. Reportedly, Camilla was not fond of Catherine's wedding tiara. Catherine wore it as a lovely homage to Queen Elizabeth, even though she subtly implied something else. It was a matter of deference, not defiance. However, there are many who believe that's when a hint of tension first appeared. Time went by. Then the tiara made its triumphant comeback, this time atop a new head and carrying a new significance. Did it have anything to do with style altogether? Was it more of a private matter, though? A long-suppressed emotion resurfacing? That might never be known to us. This, however, is obvious. The tiara has new significance. There's more to it than just financial wealth. Two powerful ladies, one royal and the other a commoner, traverse the story's landscape side by side, but ultimately choose divergent roads. Next in line is Catherine. "Please, love me," she has never spoken. Because of her gentle nature, reverence for tradition, and unassuming self-assurance, it came to her softly. Right now, Camilla is here. Her path was treacherous and winding. She did the legwork, waited her turn, and eventually became her rightful spot. She did not receive the crown by default. It was discreetly amassed, bit by bit. Their stories are now connected through symbols rather than words. Additionally, the tiara represents the two of them. Two. Some it represents competition. Some perceive a link between different eras. But that's a consensus. Some subtly altered aspect of the monarchy's narrative occurred with the return of that tiara. Why? Because in unexpected moments, the crown may make the most powerful statement. The Queen owned the tiara, but Catherine obtained it through her connection to the Queen. Could you tell me how they interacted? We will discover. Before Her Majesty's gaze. There was never a time when Queen Elizabeth II had to shout to be heard. Her demeanor exuded tranquil strength as she silently guided the group. Little decisions were big deals in her universe. So, it wasn't merely a matter of royal custom when she gave Catherine permission to wear the Cartier Hollow tiara at her wedding. There was a deeper, more intimate meaning to it. The crown jewels did not include the tiara. It had been inherited by the Queen. Permitting Catherine to wear it was an intimate and considerate present. This small gesture demonstrated profound faith and the understated transmission of knowledge. It was no little feat. Compared to other types of public speeches, it was much more impactful. It was proof that Catherine had become very dear to the Queen and the rest of the royal family. It appeared that Queen Elizabeth understood and admired Catherine's natural fit into royal life from the start. Catherine lacked ostentation. Attempting to steal the show was not her intention. She exuded an air of refined poise, unwavering commitment, and a profound feeling of responsibility, mirroring the Queen's own demeanor. The two women developed a warm friendship over time. Sweet, simple moments like sharing tea or standing shoulder to shoulder at public events were shared by them. Big words weren't necessary for them to connect. The mutual regard between them was gentle, unwavering, and respectful. The gentleness, serenity, and quiet power of Catherine were compared by some palace insiders to those of the Queen's mother. The manner they spent each day together was indicative of their connection. It went without saying, and the tiara the Queen selected for Catherine's wedding made it crystal obvious. The Queen selected a tiara from her personal collection, but she had her pick of many. That decision wasn't made at random. It was brimming with love and significance. "I trust you," was conveyed silently. However, Catherine's gradual ascent in the royal family did not sit well with everyone. The years that Queen Consort Camilla had endured were difficult ones. She was met with criticism. For a long time, she remained in the background, gradually carving out her own niche in the realm of royalty. Her trip had been considerably more challenging. Camilla continued to feel the burden of criticism even after she wed Charles. During this time, appeared to have little trouble winning over the Queen. In addition to a title, Catherine felt genuine hospitality. That friendliness was crucial. Both the general public and her own family were affected by it. The tiara, which the Queen had bestowed upon her, became an obvious symbol of this subtle love. Many were curious about the fate of Queen Elizabeth's jewels after her death. Guess who would be getting what? Did anything unique come to mind? But there was no sound from the palace. Nothing was divulged, and no roster was made public. Nothing was made public. Camilla, adorned with the Cartier halo tiara, made an appearance shortly thereafter. Many onlookers found it perplexing, rather than merely a fashion choice, that the wedding of Catherine and her relationship with the Queen had become inextricably linked to tiara. It looked weird on Camilla's head. It gave some folks the creeps, as if someone had secretly showed them something very personal without their knowledge or consent. The tiara was Camilla's choice, but why? Is it customary? Was she trying to convey something specific, or was it purely coincidental? A true answer is unknown. Those who had witnessed the Queen's delicate support of Catherine throughout the years, however, sensed a significant change. In the realm of royalty, jewels are always more than mere ornaments. They hold sentiments, recollections, and subtle narratives. The tiara's luster took on a new quality when it resurfaced on a different person at a different moment. It was a gentle reminder of the Queen's gentle power, her considerate choices, and her understated caregiving style. Her impact on these mundane activities is palpable even today. The message of royal diamonds goes beyond mere glimmer. Jewelry has a deeper meaning in the realm of royalty than just adornment. It communicates silently. There is a subtle tale behind every necklace, tiara, and brooch. There are some who display authority and those who recount past events. Even the royal family's innermost thoughts and sentiments are sometimes revealed. That is why the Cartier halo tiara was a strategic choice for Queen Camilla, going beyond mere fashion. A lot of people took it as a sign. Every piece of royal jewelry is unique. The crown jewels contain items that are officially owned by the country, but some pieces, such as the Cartier halo tiara, are considered personal treasures. The family keeps these heirlooms for generations. They are treasured possessions that are passed down through generations. When you wear them, you'll feel a surge of emotion because of the profound importance they hold. These treasured artifacts have special meaning to the monarch since they represent times of love, recollection, and trust, and are kept in his secret collection. Nobody has any idea what became of Queen Elizabeth II's jewels after her death. The public was not given access to any list. Most people thought it went to King Charles. Certainly he did it legally. However, the realm of law is merely one aspect of royal existence. It's also a matter of feelings. The memories associated with some jewels make them feel like they truly belong to their rightful owners. Princess Catherine of Wales wore the Cartier halo tiara to her wedding. It was more than just a matter of taste. It was an understated memorial. Like Catherine herself, the tiara exuded an air of tranquil grace. She was loaned it from the personal collection of Queen Elizabeth. I felt the Queen's blessing bestowed upon me by that little deed. It was a sweet token of affection between two queens. When Catherine puts on jewelry, she gives it a lot of consideration. She finds significance in each piece. The sapphire ring that belonged to Diana, or the brooch that belonged to the Queen, each have stories to tell. She prefers understated elegance. It's respectful, considerate, and low-key. People look up to her in part because of that. She avoids drawing attention to herself. Doing her job with elegance and love is all she does. As a result, Camilla's Cartier halo tiara attracted a lot of unwanted attention. Many thought she had stolen from Catherine something that was rightfully hers, not legally, but emotionally. It felt even more awkward because of the timing. Nowadays, everyone adores Catherine. A lot of people think she will be the Queen's successor. Her beauty and generosity have won her many admirers. In contrast, Camilla has found it more challenging to be accepted. Even though she is queen, Catherine is still seen by some as the embodiment of monarchy. For that 1 second, a picture of Camilla donning the tiara caused quite a stir. It was anything but a solemn homage. To me, it was more of a message. Perhaps it meant the crown had slipped away. Its significance was felt by many for whatever reason. It lingered in their minds. Jewelry is more than just a decorative item in a royal family's life. There is tradition, history, and significance in it. The Cartier halo tiara has evolved into more than just a stunning accessory. This is now a pivotal point in history. It reveals the intersection of two royal roots: Catherine, who is youthful, adored, and on the rise, and Camilla, who is seasoned and esteemed. It goes beyond the ownership of the tiara. Whoever people think should wear it is the most important thing. Emotions hold equal weight as regulations inside the royal family. This goes beyond just a crown. The most important things are tradition, loyalty, and the people's loved ones. The tale behind a tiara is more meaningful than its dazzling appearance. The gem isn't the focal point of this serene royal moment. The subtle meaning it conveys is what's important. The photo caused quite a stir when it made it to the news. What were the general opinions? I say we jump right in. Crown, quiet, and commotion. When Queen Camilla chose to wear the Cartier halo tiara, she likely did not anticipate the intense response. A prompt reply was received. It had a lot of emotion. It was unexpected, especially in the ordinarily serene realm of royalty. A lot of people were talking about how she should not have worn the tiara. The fact that no one from Buckingham Palace said anything just made matters worse. Neither a message nor an explanation was provided, not even a peeved reassurance. The people's suspicions were heightened by this lack of sound. It appeared as though their concerns were subtly validated. Inquiries weren't the only thing people were doing. They yearned to be acknowledged. Why was something that meant so much to Princess Catherine now on someone else? That was the question they wanted answered. The general population saw this as more than just a style statement. The theme seemed to revolve around loyalty. Catherine is widely considered the royal family's beating heart. People adore her because of how nice and kind she is. Not once does she make an effort to be seen. She is strong, but she doesn't shout it from the rooftops. Nowadays, the tiara she wore during her wedding is an integral element of her story. Her serene beauty is a fitting reflection of her royal position. As a result, many were wounded when Camilla wore the identical tiara. Feelings were intense. Almost immediately, many took to social media to express themselves. Images of the two ladies donning the tiara were perused. Shock, despair, and wrath were all there in the response. People were guarded, as if an intimate personal matter had been inadvertently handled. Hashtags featuring Queen Kate or Not Your Tiara quickly gained traction. Some people didn't see this as a minor royal matter. It was so intimate. It seemed like Catherine's quiet fortitude was being unnoticed by those who had been following her trip from the start. The tiara had significance beyond its aesthetic value. It seems like someone else was now attempting to alter that narrative. Without delay, the media became entangled. Bold titles adorned every article. Others claimed it was merely an error. Still others speculated that the palace might be hiding more serious issues. The members of the royal family were questioned, but they chose not to respond. A sense of mystery surrounded the issues of authority, decision-making, and the nature of what may be transpiring behind closed doors. Perhaps everything was exaggerated. It had everyone's attention. Whatever the case may be, one thing was obvious. People were very concerned. To the untrained eye, the tiara may appear insignificant. The sentiments underlying it, though, were enormous. Events like this don't occur frequently in the reticent realm of monarchy. People pay attention when they do. There was more of a shock than just the tiara in this tale. The silence was the true shock. No word came out of Buckingham Palace. Perhaps they wished the din would die down. However, quiet conveys meaning as well. On this occasion, it conveyed a great deal. What is the next step? There is more to the royal family than meets the eye. Many people see it as a symbol of tradition, duty, and direction. Outside the palace walls, even a minor family event might have a major impact. This was made quite evident when the Cartier Halotilera was worn by Queen Camilla. Princess Catherine should have been the one to receive it, according to many. It may appear to be nothing more than a lovely piece of jewelry at first glance, but in the realm of royalty, nothing is ever straightforward. There is a subtle message in every garment, every jewelry, and every crown. All throughout the globe, people are feeling these signals, and occasionally they lead people to question, where is the monarchy going? Guess who's at the head of the pack? Many people sought solace in the words of someone after the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Many people grew to think of Princess Catherine in such light. Being the center of attention is never her goal. She demonstrates inner strength instead. Her poise, generosity, and consistent effort have earned her the respect of everyone around her. The public has developed a strong attachment to her, something that makes them think of the Queen. Catherine's renown is genuine and unflinching, rather than ostentatious or blatant. Having an exemplary role model is crucial during times of transition. A sense of regal pride is something they are striving for. People can look forward to a peaceful, benevolent, and contemporary future because of Catherine and Prince William. Contrast this with Camilla's narrative. She has had a challenging journey. Her life has been full with highs and lows. Her coronation is still not entirely accepted by everyone. It was clearly more than a style statement when she chose to mimic Catherine's bridal tiara. The tiara has a connection to Catherine's journey as a princess. Wearing it appeared to convey a subtle message of competition. Was this an accident or an indication of authority? People started to question. This seemingly insignificant deed brought up a considerably more substantial inquiry. Who will the future royal family be like? There seem to be two roads to take at the moment. Titles and regulations form the basis of one. Love and genuine emotions form the basis of the other. Have you any opinions? Is the owner going to get their tiara back? Post your opinions down below and hit the like, share, and subscribe button while you're at it. Make sure you click on the video that appears on your screen before you go.